Good morning, guys. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching doing the live, actually, just a live trading session for our room. It's the 5th of April. And so, just real quick, past performance is not indicative of future results. You can lose your backside trading futures. And there's substantial risk to trading futures, so make sure it's suitable. I'm basically sharing my trade plan with you in hopes that it makes you a better trader. So, the entries that we have right now, you can see we just joined right after I put them on. But ES, it says, Daniel, we're shorted NQ 75.99, stop high of day, which was 76.08. We're short ES 28.93, 50, stop 28.96. Both of those are, well, ES isn't really working in our favor just yet. But NQ certainly is by a couple of points. But the point is just to simply have a recording for the members of the room so that you can go back and see how the day progressed in real time. So what we keyed off of is simply was we got a sell signal with a shift down, and then we got a buy with a push up. The close behind, which was this bar right here. Excuse me, this bar right here triggered a short, right? And we're obviously looking for a roll down. So in that, catch everyone up to speed so that when you're watching the video, it makes sense. ES opened above prior day's high, grinding right into the resistance zones that were posted last night, right? NQ, pretty much the same story, right? We've opened up, right? Chop, 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 chop. 5 dojis, 6 dojis in a row. Attempted to push into the white zone, rejection right out of the white zone, right? Still would have to get it to roll over somehow, right? And I'm pretty much flat on that trade right now. So the first trade I took was just aggressive. There's been no sign of pushing to the downside. I simply took the setup as it presented itself, and as the signals present themselves through the course of the day, I will let you know. But not all buys are actually buys, and not all sells are actually sells. It depends on where it lays up within the 5-minute chart. So that's our current position in the room. Short ES, short NQ, and the ES trade is break even and NQ's barely profitable. And if it grinds and it stops, right, that's okay. I'll just take the next setup. That was part of trading on non-farm payrolls, is you understand that no matter what you do, you may get run over, right? That's part of the deal. If you can't take that or can't handle that, right, don't trade non-farm payrolls. It's probably one of the harder trading days there are out there, right? The other thing is I'm shorting in a market that's been on rails to the upside. That makes the shorts tougher. And on CL, I just got nothing. We're just parked, right? So either way, however this trade works out, I will take my stop and move on to whatever the next trade setup is. So far, it's nothing. There's just nothing to do. It's either going to stop or pay me, one of the two. And ES is pretty damn close to stopping me. But it was a tight stop to begin with. We're talking about 93.50 to 96, 2.5 points. Normally my stops are closer to 5 points, so I can live with that. And if it triggers again, I'll take it again. And NQ, actually, the stops are closer to 10 to 15 points. So both stops are pretty reasonable if they work, right? So again, none of this is to follow me blindly. I have my trade plan. It's so that you have your trade plan. Obviously, I could have scaled out the for 5 points. My target was bigger on that than 5 points. And I may just be in a grind up non-farm payroll mode, which is totally fine as well. And it looks like they're going to tag me on ES. The other thing that's not working in my favor, tick is totally neutral, by the way. There's just no negative ticks here and haven't been. That's negative 1,000, as you can see. It's been, the last time we got anywhere close was on the 4th, but just overall, there's no big negative ticks. All right, so something's going to have to give in order for the market to roll down. And maybe we're just in the supermarket where it never goes down. Possible. But I'm pretty confident I will make up. I had a big day in ES yesterday. I'm pretty sure if I get stopped, I'll have more than one opportunity to make it up today. And it's like the silence of the lambs. Maybe I'm just waiting to get crushed. This buy shift up is an okay signal. It's not a great signal on CL. Everyone pretty much knows I'm looking for that speed bar, right? Like that. There's an example of one that got stopped and then it flipped. That would have been an automatic cover right there. But there's just no motion in CL right now, so I'd wait till it opens up one way or the other. And in the meantime, if you don't like the NQ trade or the CES trade, you can cover it flat and move along. I'm not. I take my stops. I don't move them. So unless I get a signal on here that says flip it around and take it out. And Daniel's warned me. He's like, all I can say is the PA is beyond wacky so far. I agree with you. Right. So obviously I'm fighting the tide. The tides turn sometimes. And again, if the trade doesn't fit your profile, right? We killed it on ES yesterday. Just skip it. It's okay. It's not like it'll be the last trade we get set up today and there'll be a whole new slew of them all next week. That being said, I am pushing both of these trades, right? Which means I'll scale. First scale ES will be 5 points and it'll only be a quarter size scale. And NQ, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I'm looking for a 20-point rotation down to start with. Right? So if they don't break it, I'm going to get stopped. That's all there is to it. But I'm looking for a 20-point rotation before I take a scale on NQ. It's been up all week long. and it's pretty prime for some profit taking, in my opinion, if I can get the setup, which I did. And what I was looking for, right, was to get the buy right on top, right, and then get behind it. And it's after 9 o'clock. I know I said I was going to wait till 9:30, but at least after 9 o'clock, get behind the last buy, and then let it see if it can't roll down. And then my target, right, would be either prior. That was the so yesterday was inside day. That was Wednesday's high. That's Thursday's high. Point of control. And then that 28.76 is really what I would target to get tagged or areas lower, right? So that being said, when you look at it, it's not exactly rolling down hard. A speed bar to the upside would close me out on that trade, by the way, right? And like I said, if you don't like to trade, you can flat it right now. So I already know the decision I made, and I'm pretty cool with it. And the reason for that is, let me tell you why I'm willing to take this. It's for the same reason. On the flip side, if you look at NQ at the low yesterday, although granted, the up is a lot easier than the down, right? Friday, let's do this chart settings. Is my loading here? Okay, that won't take too long. See that yesterday afternoon, right down there at the low? Well, okay, so I could have used this as a trigger, right? But that was right into, that was still a key support yesterday that I had marked in NQ. You get the last sell, close above it, right? And it is off to the races. And that's the exact same reason why I want to be short ES and NQ up here. Now, will the trade work? I have zero idea, right? I've given a pretty good argument for why it won't work, right? But I'm going to take my setups as they come along, because what I find, people try to perfect their entries and exits, read the market PA perfectly. I'm guilty of the same, and I miss a lot of good trades. That would normally be a very good long for me. It's a lot of effort to form that bar because I know how the algo triggers. This bar is very special. Closing behind it generally is a good indication that you're about to get some weakness, right? If you look over here on ES, same thing. That's normally a long bar, right? So getting behind it is a pretty big deal, actually. And actually, this has now generated a algo trigger. That would normally be 75.92 with a 5-point stop. Excuse me, I take it correct. That's ES. It would be a 28.92.75 entry with a 5-point stop. And that is a valid signal right there, that speed bar for that signal. So that being said, you're going to have to contend with all of this. This whole zone is a valid resistance area, right? So I can't qualify it any more than that. And other than to say I have the risk on and I'm willing to get smoked on it. So, and that's the only way I know how to trade well. So that's what I'm doing. Anyone in the room have any questions? Purple speed bar right there on NQ. Very good, guys. Sorry. ES, purple speed bar. Heads up to the downside. Again, no scales for me so far. I'm targeting 20 down, which means I'm looking for 79 for my first scale. If you need to cover earlier, right? If you need to cover earlier, by all means, follow your trade plan, right? I'm following mine. That's 10 points. It's $200 a contract. It's nothing to sneeze at. Again, the purple speed bars, you pretty much need to have them on your desktop, guys. There's no way for me to call that and be anywhere close to humanly fast enough. So it could come all the way back against me because I haven't taken one single contract off yet. Again, when you're looking at this downside roll, don't get too excited yet because tick is indicating no sell pressure, just FYI. Okay, and you can see ES is just not rolling down with NQ at all. Okay, so the trade's in danger because I'm not getting any sell pressure there, right? So just be aware of that. And same thing with if you look at the delta, no matter how you look at it, it's just right. We got a big delta push there on that wave. See that? It was the most expanded wave and it didn't push to a new low. I'm telling you this so that you know how to manage the trade according to your risk. As everyone knows who's in the room, once I put the trade on, I generally let it stop me, right? Or pop me for the stop, one of the two. Stop me or pay me, one of the two. Moving your stops around has been the formula I've seen the most for killing traders. The trade was good when you entered it, should still be good. Unless, instead if I got to buy speed bar with a push up, that's pretty much the only thing that would kick me out of this trade. I've got nothing yet on CL. It's in the, and notice this blue zone is an anomaly and we're just chopping around it. It's exactly why it's labeled blue. It's the weakest of all the areas. It's hard to trade in here a lot of times, and I wouldn't want to trade in there if I could avoid it without the best signal. Funding close in about 15 minutes. Again, we're just pretty much parked at this point. And so I think the best you could have done on NQ so far would have been a 11 point P&L. I will, Daniel. I tagged one contract in and out. May not move today. We may be in non-farm payroll grind, which sucks, but it may not, right? I may regret not taking that 11 points and just walking away for the day. Ten minutes till top of the hour. And obviously there's a lack of abundance of anyone interested in doing anything. But nonetheless, I would count this trade already as successful in terms of it gave the push down, it gave good location. This is what the important part of this, right? Look at the read is what's important, right? You got the final buy, and that's a strong buy signal right there, right? Getting underneath that led to the roll to the downside. At the purple speed bar, which as we both know, all know, very important for moves to the downside, right? And it worked correctly, right? So if I get stopped now, I'm trying to capture a bigger swing, right? And I may be choosing the wrong day to do it, right? Maybe it's non-farm payrolls and they are just going to push to a new high, and that's the end of the story. They're going to tag me out, and I should have taken my P&L, which is all right, right? Or, right? Or choice B, right? I choose to try to guess every time this signal, when we get underneath it or above it, is going to work or fail. I start getting selective and I miss a boatload. I mean, a boatload of good trades, right? And by the way, that sell right on top is also a very good sell. But that one really is when you get that buy and you get behind that, it's a good signal, right? And I'll show you the same thing on ES as it slowly grinds up against me. All right. So if I go back to other days and I go, well, Simon, what would you do in scenario A, B, C, or D, right? So see those speed bars? Those are a big deal. Buy, speed bar, and it's colored pink, right? That's a strong buy signal right there, right? Notice as soon as we get behind it, long liquidation, right? Those are big signals for me. Buy signal, long stop. Those are good signals for me, right? So I don't want to get overly selective and I want to stay as close to process as humanly possible. And if I've elected to trade on non-farm payrolls, which I have, I just got to understand it's a harder day to trade on and I might get tagged out on my trades. In which case, you got to know what your max stop loss is for the day, right? And go from there. And I don't know where everyone is, but tick is non-existent. And why I say tick. And that ES realistically is close enough for me to get tagged by algos at the top of the hour. Just FYI. And they tagged me on the 96, guys. Did they? They did. Stop on the 96. I'm still in it, and I'm still on NQ. So, and I'm totally fine with that. Definitely not printed that. Everyone should be muted, guys. I will take that ES if it sets up again. Again, we were regularly getting 5 to 10 points on that setup. Until, of course, there's no rotations. And it looks like they're going to tag the NQ as well. Again, for those who are watching on YouTube, I don't move my stops. Pay me or stop me, one of the two. Yeah, if that sets up again as a sell, I will take that. I will follow process on that. Short 95 with a 5-point stop. 2,900 even. Wow. Where there is 1,937 contracts. They may be going there, guys. At 2,900, there's 1,937 contracts sitting. But again, I will take this when this forms. That is a high odds win rate. And NQ still survives. So I am short again, ES. Here, let me throw it up in the room again. Short ES. 2895. Stop. 2,900. It's a lot of freaking contracts to have at one level on ES. Again, the problem here maybe today is I'm just trading on non-farm payrolls, and when I look back, I'll go, yeah, that was a bad idea. And you can cover whoever's in. If again, I keep saying this, guys, because I know how dangerous non-farm payrolls can be. NQ's pretty much flat, right? As a matter of fact, it's profitable by a tick, I think. Again, it's going to either stop me or pay me, one of the two. 2 minutes till Algo's top of the hour. Tick has finally gotten negative, negative 484. And expect it to be a little bit wacky on the algos over the next couple minutes. Again, my intention is to push both the ES and the NQ trade or let them stop me. So the way you vary that, if you don't want to be Mr. I'm going to try and push a trade on a day like today, 2-point scales, move stops to break even, cross fingers and hope it works. Same thing on NQ. Take your scales 5 and 10, move stops to break even, and hope it works. That's the other way of managing the trade. I intend to get paid. That is a very high odds setup. And if you need it, there's 2 points right there. I don't, so I won't. 1 minute till algos. Expect anything and everything. And we finally got a negative 600 tick on cumulative delta. That's why I see on cumulative tick. Took everything they had to get it, but they got it. So we'll see if they do anything. Let's go roll. So my goal is to get 5 and 10 and then leave a trailer. Or cover if it gives me a buy signal. Again, my first ES trade did stop. I reloaded it. And really, if I look how I manage that, we got the same sell signal right here, right, at 28.93. With a 5-point stop would pitch you at 28.98. That trade would still be, I maybe should have adjusted the stop there, but I already made my decision. So that being said, that with the 5-point stop is what I'm going with. And back to break even on NQ. And the one element I'm missing is just general rotations here, guys. Right? We don't have any wide rotations. So the maximum favorable excursion on NQ has been 11 points. ES has been about 2 points. But Daniel, I'm starting to agree with you. This really sucks. And those are good setups. They should have led to pretty quick bleeds. You know, and Seal's given nothing. Like, look at that. It is dead as a doornail. And I'd show you the 5-minute chart, but it looks the same as it did 20 minutes ago. It's all 5-minute bars overlapping each other. Speed bar, yes. I'm already short. Nothing for me to do. So you could hypothetically apply the same solution here. If you close behind with a point of control above this bar right here, you could argue that, well, it's long now for a push up. Again, I'm not going to move my stop. So you got to know that. What I'm trying to do is some people won't take the stops that I take, understandably, right? So if you look at that bar and you closed above that bar, right, you can reasonably say it's going to push to the upside, right? So just be aware of it. My stop is all the way back here, right? The back of this yellow zone. So that's what I'm electing to do. You've got to manage the risk so that it fits your profile. And I got nothing on NQ over here. It's just folding on top of each other. So they're either going to push into London close or sell into London close or put me in a coma into London close, one of the three. And if this keeps up much longer, I may just cover everything and go to freaking a movie. This is pretty bad. Day trading wise. Not a lot of reason to. That could easily be interpreted as a long signal, just FYI. So I don't ignore my signals. That pink speed bar, right? It's usually a long. If I want to get behind it to make that short work. We'll just see what they do over the next couple of minutes. There's nothing to do in CL, guys. It's literally a door jam. There's just nothing here, right? If you're trading CL, you might as well just relax, unless you're already long and just waiting. Wow, Coma City. Sorry, guys. I thought this would be better than this. This is pretty much the lowest volatility non-farm payrolls I've maybe ever seen. Oh, I feel like I'm pressing my luck here. But we'll stay with it. So let me explain what that means. What that means is I want to cover my trades because it's not moving. Okay. And I get torn between following my process and sitting still and letting the market work itself out for me, which pays me a lot and very often, right? Or going off my gut instinct and my emotions and either pulling the trade or going, oh, it's not going to work this time. And then I get into a pretty vicious cycle of, oh, it's going to work this time or it's not going to work this time. I have a maximum allowable number of stops in a day. I had a really good day in ES and NQ actually, and CL actually yesterday, right? I'll end the week positive unless I just go completely on tilt somehow today, which I won't. Right, I'm taking one small stop, and I can bail on this trade. The problem, what I'm torn with, is going with my gut instinct, and which says get the heck out. It's slow, right? Or just following process, which is, and this is where the rub is. When I entered the trade, I already knew what the PA looked like, and I made the decision. And I want to make the good decision at entry, not at exit, not at, oh, it's this flavor or that flavor. I see that I don't want to keep analyzing the trade all the way through the process. I want to be in the trade, stay in the trade, either get stopped or get paid. But every trader I coach, almost without exception, when they look at a trade and they take a trade, all they remember is the times they made a good decision, like, oh, it's not going to work this time and I'm going to get out of it. And then they torture themselves almost for eternity by looking for every excuse to get into or out of a trade that they possibly can. And then they spend the rest of their trading career watching every little tick going, oh, well, I got in the trade, but now I see that this indicator has happened, or this has happened, or the third thing has happened, and I'm going to change everything, right? And those traders, if they would just take their stops when they make a trading decision and learn, right, that the decision is made on the entry, that the profit's made on entry. When you look at the trade and you look at the setup, the decision's made on entry, not on exit, right? Now, to add to that further, NQ went 10 points in your favor. It's $200 a contract, right? And I said, I'm going to try to push for 20 points, right? We were getting 20 points yesterday, right? It's not an insane decision to make, right? It's not like I said 50 points or bust, right? Here's the flip side. So I'm going to give you the flip side of that coin, okay? The flip side of that coin is, because I didn't take any scale, I may end up with a trade that went profitable and then stops against me. And you always read in every trading book, right? What do they say? They go, never let a trade come back against you that's gone profitable. Well, okay, if you're day trading, that's bullshit, because a trade can go in your favor for 3 ticks and against you for a couple ticks, then roll in your favor. And that's exactly what people are trying to do, is they're trying to manage that, oh, never let a trade go against you, right? So let's look at where I'm taking the trade. Taking the trade, number one, in a yellow zone on ES. If you did this all the time without even looking at the algo or anything else, you'd make a lot of money. It works pretty regular, okay? Number two, we are extended, right? Number three, NQ is also, let me make sure before I trip myself up and say something's not accurate. NQ's rejected out of the white zone, which is a strong zone to get rejection out of, not once, but twice, right? They've tested it and rejected twice. It's not unreasonable for them to go, hey, they might come down here and test this anomaly, or if they really get crazy, test that anomaly. Not a crazy idea, okay? What's working against me in this idea? What's working against me is, there's little to no sell pressure, right? Making shorts very, very difficult, as witnessed by the tick, right? Number two, unlike yesterday where we had rotations, there have been almost no rotations today, right? So I knew all that entering the trade before I got in, which is why I'm not in CL, right? I looked at CL and said, F that. I don't want to trade a CL trade that has a 20-point total range on a Friday. Forget that. I want to see a stretch in that. I didn't like the way CL looked, so I didn't take anything in here. I didn't consider a sell over here. I didn't consider a buy over here. There's nothing for me to do, right? And it's in an anomaly that I don't want to trade in, right? So if I take the stop, right? If I take the stop, I'll go, this is how I made my decision. And then I'll conclude, which I always conclude on every non-farm payrolls that I lose money on. Trading on non-farm payrolls is a bad idea. I probably shouldn't have done it. I did it. Live with the consequences and move on to Monday. I will say this. I don't recall seeing a market this strong where there's not an active QE going on, but that's not here nor there. And it's all right if you disagree with my position, right? Or you think it's long. That's what makes a market. Daniel sent you a message, although I'm not sure you're around anymore. And guys, I posted this in the wrong place. I don't know how I did it, but I posted the entries and exits in the wrong location. I apologize about that. I'll get them updated. I don't know how I was in the wrong thing, but I was on the Slack channel. And London closed. Noise on tap. Oh, it got kind of negative. Come on, NQ. Oh, purple bar, NQ. Again, it's been pretty choppy, right? We got one here and it barely went anywhere. I guess people expect the market to go up in perpetuity. And I think I've proven that I can enter a trade exactly where it won't move. This is almost at 2 points. It is at 2 points. If you need a scale, you got it. All right. I'm not taking the scale. So take it if you want it. It's there for the taking. I don't want it. Not much commentary to add when it's this slow, guys. I'm just sitting on my positions. Purple speed bar, ES. Again, nothing for me to do here. And if you need to cover, they're both green, guys. So everyone knows where I'm at. I'm pretty comfortable with the position at this point. I'll let them pay me or take me, one of the two. 2890 is the first cover, first scale on ES for me, guys. 5 points. May not get it. And I'm kind of wishing I didn't come to work today at this point. It's so slow. Well, guys, on YouTube, I apologize. I thought I would have a better example of how the day might go. I don't, so I'll post the results. There's no point in sitting here. There's nothing happening. I'm short. Everyone knows where my stop is. My targets are much lower. I'll post the results on the trade review later tonight. But we're just sitting here spinning our wheels. There's literally sideways and nothing going on. So whether I get paid or I get stopped, I'm probably leaving after this. So anyways, I thank y'all for joining me. I'll try to do another one of these when the market's actually has more than a 1 point range. So thanks. Have a great day. Trade smart. That's all I got to add.